What's up, Guiding Bolt fans? This is Nick. Welcome back to another day in the trenches of Codewars Python training. Today it looks like we have a fun one. We're going to be attempting to solve a car crash. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So it says here that a car is zooming through the streets, maybe a little too fast. Here come more cars. Oh no. The instructions are: you need to find, if given a multi-line string of road, whether the speeding car will crash or not. A road will always contain the following: the speeding car, which is this collection of symbols or characters, whose driver is too scared to turn, and the other cars, which are signified by X's. They will always be heading in the same direction as the car. The function returns true if there are X cars ahead of the speeding car in the same lane, or if there are X's ahead of the speeding car in the same lane, but return false if the speeding car has already passed all of the cars in the lane, or if the lane is empty. Well, if he passed some, why doesn't he just pass them all instead of rear-ending them? Seems like that'd make more sense. Anyways, we got some examples here to look at. These three examples will return true, aka a crash. So we can see there's an X in front of the car. There's a little bit of space here, but it looks like we pedal to the metal and rear end that person. And then this one must be driving through the cities or something, because there are literally cars all around them. Then these three will all return false, meaning there is no crash. So no X, and it looks like no X. So this might be a little bit trickier than the last couple, but I think that all makes sense. Let's go ahead and grab our function here and actually, what do we got going on down here? There's a whole bunch of hubbub down here. I think actually this one might be a little bit trickier to drop the, we could probably still do it, but I think it'll be easier if we actually just solve this one in Codewars instead of bringing it over to PyCharm. But as I'm thinking about how to solve this here, I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to do some string slicing. And so, because we know what the car is, right? So the car is this thing right here. So we can see that that's the car. So basically we need to capture this string, and we need to capture up to, because we only this is basically, think of these as lanes. So we just need to capture this lane right here and then see if there is an X in the lane or not. And after that X, since this is a multi-line comment, basically, there's going to be new lines in here. So if we just capture up to the new line or splice up to the new line, then we can do our check. But what I think I want to do here is we are going to grab this little snippet, and I'm going to show you what I mean, because there's invisible characters in here. So if we go ahead and copy this bad boy and drop that into PyCharm, we'll just go ahead and drop it down here and create a variable for ourselves. So since this is it's still a string, but it is a multi-line comment that is, it has three quotes, or three double quotes on both the beginning and the end of it. But if we go ahead and hit enter here and look over to the side, you can see that invisible character that I was talking about. So see, after these three X's right here, there is a new line. We don't see that /in show up here, but it is actually visible in the variable. So that's what we're going to be, one of the things that we're going to be trying to splice on, or slice on. I keep saying splice. Thinking of Blade Splicer from Magic. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can figure this out. We'll go ahead and, like I said, we'll just go ahead and try to solve this directly in Codewars. So first thing that we're going to try to do is locate the position of the front of our car within this string. So there is thankfully a nice little method that's called find that we can use on strings, and it'll tell us the location of an index, or the indices. We're just going to call it index. So let's go ahead and just create a variable that's going to be called index, and that's going to be equal to road, so the string, dot find, and we are going to be looking for the letter O, and that's going to be lowercase o because that's the front of the car. So that should give us the position of the front of the car. And then let's go ahead and create then a new string that is going to be equal to the road, but only the portion of the road that goes from the front of the car. So we're going to say index, and we'll go to the end. So basically, looking at this example, lane should be capturing, it's capturing a little bit more than lane, but we'll take care of that in a second. So it's basically capturing from the front of the car all the way up to this X, that new line, and then this other line down here is what that's capturing. And then let's go ahead and create another index that's going to be looking for the new line right here. So we'll call this one just index 2. And we'll say that one is equal to, it's going to be similar syntax, but instead of looking at the road, we're just going to focus on the lane now. So we're going to say lane.find. And in this one, we're going to be searching for that new line character. Right? I think so. So then with that, let's create one more new string, and we're going to call this one crash check. So, and basically what crash check is going to include is it's going to include the front of our car up to the new line, but not including the new line. So we'll say crash check is going to be equal to lane, but that's going to be from basically the first position up to index 2. And then I think with that, is that right? I think so. With that, we should just be able to do a simple if statement then, and then check to see if there is an X in our crash check, right? Because that's going to be going from the front of the car to the new line, and then is there an X in it? Basically, is what it all boils down to. So let's go ahead and do an if statement. We'll say if there is an X in crash check, then we crashed, so we return true. Else, we just return false, right? And it should be, I think, that simple. Let's go ahead and give this a test-a-rooney here and see what we get. So we failed, but we did pass some of them. So let's see here. Let's look at the one that we failed here. What did we do wrong, or what are we missing? So this is the road. Result false should equal true. Yeah, I agree, because there is the X right there. We obviously did crash. So what is going on here? Oh. So what if, all right, this makes sense. Let's copy this road real quick. The example that they gave us. Let's drop, you guys probably already see it already because you got better brains than I do. We'll call this road 2, and this is going to be equal to, let's get our triple quotes in there. We'll paste our road in and create that variable. What do we not have in this one? We do not have a new line. So we are not accounting for there not being a new line. So probably what we got going on here is when we attempt to create this index 2, which is, you know, attempting to find the new line, it doesn't equal anything because it doesn't exist in this example. So let's see here. How do we fix that then? Let's do this. We're going to do another if statement here. We're going to say if there is a new line in lane, then we'll do another check. We'll drop down here, and then we will actually create the index 2, actually, and the crash check, right? So if there is a new line in lane, then index is going to be equal to lane. Then we create our index, and then we do our crash check using the exact same line that we had before. All right, then we need to do another if statement in here. We got a lot of if statements going on here. I'm sure this can be simplified, but this is how I'm thinking about it right now. So let's go ahead and do another check in here. So then if there is an X in crash check here, return true, else return false. So that will handle if there's a new line, and then out here, if there's not a new line, then let's just check our lane. So then if there is an X in lane, return true, else return false. I'm sure that can be cleaned up quite a bit. But let's see if it works. That's all we're going for. We're just going for passing. We don't need to be the what is it? The teacher's pet. We're just trying to pass the class at this point. Let's go ahead and test that bad boy. All right, awesome. So we passed the 4 tests. Let's see. Let's attempt the final. Okay, awesome. So that was it. We just weren't accounting for that for there not being a new line in the lane. So good deal. Let's go ahead and submit this. As always, make sure that once you submit this, you go ahead and take a look at what others have submitted. You can see here that others have solved this in like 2 lines of code. Oh, how I envy them. We'll get to that point at some point, maybe. But I'm just happy that we can pass them at this point. So make sure you go ahead and take a look at these just for your just to continue your learning and advance your skills. I think though we're going to go ahead and end this video there. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it down below, and I will catch you in the next one.